as a part-time employee.
Employers and employees alike are exhausted and overworked as employment rates continue to lag well over a year and a half into the pandemic. We'll hear more from the workers struggling to keep the doors open straight ahead.
Children may be getting help in the fight against coronavirus as pediatric cases and deaths continue to rise. But just how soon could a vaccine be available to children under the age of 12?
And with the homecoming game just 2 days away, the newly elected king and queen are preparing to take the field for their official crowning. Meet your homecoming royalty coming up. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Hannah Baker.
And I'm Leah Blevins. Unemployment among all workers has increased sharply in the COVID-19 recession. News reporter Annabelle Kinney covered the details on how Oxford businesses are struggling.
As Oxford continues to reopen and rebuild itself amid the pandemic, many businesses in Oxford are understaffed, left without employees to fill the job. Many local stores and restaurants in Oxford are in dire need of employees, especially since schools are now back in session and people have been getting out more due to an easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Big Bad Breakfast owner John Currents tells us how the lack of employees has affected his business.
We lost managers. We struggled to keep people with us because they just got worn out as a result of the shortage, and we're having to work more shifts than usual.
Bam Bam Burgers owner Erica Berrigan also mentions the struggle she has been facing with the lack of staff in her business.
So it's just been really hard. If I don't work the hours myself, I don't make money. And basically, I'm not making money now because I'm having to raise wages, food costs is high. I'm working 70 hours a week. I mean, as business owners, we're burned out.
What's unusual now is that unemployment and job openings are both so elevated at the same time, causing many restaurants to change their store hours. Not only does being understaffed put a strain on business managers and owners, but for employees that are working as well. Here's what they have to say.
Due to understaffing of restaurants and other stores, it affects us daily because the place is not opening because they changed their hours. So it's hard to get everybody's service completed at a specific time.
Many businesses are now offering benefits for workers, like flexible hours, on-spot interviews, and weekly or daily pay to get people on the job. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Annabelle Kinney.
Hopefully businesses will start hiring more people soon. We will keep you updated on anything further regarding unemployment in Oxford.
Some Oxford businesses are facing bigger issues than just staffing. The city of Oxford has given several square building owners 1 year to make sure their balconies are in compliance with the International Building Code. Oxford deemed 5 balconies were not in compliance this year. They were instructed to rebuild them within the next coming year. Building official Chris Carter inspected the 5 balconies and could not recommend allowing any balcony that did not meet code to be used. Carter said the reality is people fall, get hurt, and could die if they were to use unsafe balconies. The board voted to give business 1 year to get the balconies up to code.
After months on the run, an Oxford man is in custody for allegedly stealing a vehicle. The suspect, Dustin Crace, was recently arrested for stealing a vehicle from a gas station on South Lamar Boulevard back in June. Police located the vehicle in Van Buren, Arkansas, later that month. Crace was formally charged on September 30th and was issued a $2,500 bond.
Ole Miss legend and former Chancellor Robert Kyatt discussed his latest book, 60, A Year of Sports, Race, and Politics, on Tuesday. Reporter Olivia Wright went to get insight on why Kyatt wrote this book.
Robert Kyatt, a beloved former chancellor from Ole Miss, is here at the Overby Center to discuss his new novel, Among the Next Generation of Writers, Politicians, Athletes, and Journalists.
Robert Kyatt was both a student and the 15th Chancellor of Ole Miss. However, his new novel, titled 60, focuses only on the year of 1960, with everything from the iconic Rebel football season, civil rights movement, and his personal journey. Kyatt says that he wrote this novel simply for the next generation of students.
I felt like I needed to share some of my experiences in the various parts of my life.
Student Chloe Kalo says his conversation was inspirational, to say the least.
I was inspired by Robert's quote about how you don't lose until you're done trying, because as a college student I feel like there's a lot of times where I feel like I've lost or I want to give up, but after hearing him talk about what that means to him, I felt really inspired.
This is Olivia Wright with NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Kyatt says by writing this book, he hopes to inspire young people like he was in the 60s.
In the midst of a pandemic, it's easy to forget about other diseases, but one Ole Miss coach is making sure that cancer research still gets its due. Sports reporter Emily Cochran is in the studio with details. Emily?
Well, Leah, Ole Miss head basketball coach Kermit Davis is fighting to beat cancer, one half-court shot at a time. Davis is inviting the public to attend the second Make Kermit Pay event, which is a cancer initiative benefiting the American Cancer Society. The event will be held at the Pavilion on Tuesday, October 19th from 4 to 7 p.m., where each person has the opportunity to attempt one free throw and one half-court shot. Each shot made adds money to the final check to help sink cancer. Coach Davis has agreed to pay $1 for every person that attends, $10 for every free throw, and $500 for every half-court shot made. So get out to the Pavilion on October 19th and help Coach sink cancer.
Moving over to our coronavirus coverage. The state of Mississippi reported over 1,000 new COVID cases today. The total number of cases is now at over 490,000. 10 deaths were also reported as the total death count approaches 10,000. Here in Lafayette County, there are 11 new confirmed cases.
Coronavirus cases are particularly rising in children. That's why Children's Hospital of Mississippi is working to fight a dangerous side effect of COVID-19, multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. This rare but serious condition is an after effect of a child's immune system malfunctioning and attacking itself due to the coronavirus. According to the Mississippi Department of Health, out of more than 83 children in the state who have had this syndrome between the start of the pandemic and August of this year, 5 have died. Children's of Mississippi has established a Miss C clinic in response to patients' need.
For most of the pandemic, children seem to be less affected by the virus. With infection, hospitalization and death rates significantly lower other than age groups. Children are now caught up with other age groups with a limited access to vaccines. Today, Pfizer officially asked for emergency approval of its vaccine in children as young as 5. CNN Mandy's Gaither has the details.
If authorized, it would be the first COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. Pfizer officially applying for emergency use authorization for kids ages 5 to 11.
This is an important development.
The FDA has scheduled time to review the Pfizer data October 26th. That would be followed by consideration by the CDC. While it's still unclear how long a decision may take, here was the timeline for adults. Pfizer applied for an EUA on November 20th, 2020. It was authorized December 11th.
We are ready. We have the supply. We're working with states to set up convenient locations for parents and kids to get vaccinated, including pediatricians' offices and community sites.
Pfizer says in trials, more than 2,200 children were given 1/3 of the dose adults get. The company found its vaccine safe and generated a robust antibody response. But officials know they're continuing to contend with vaccine hesitancy.
I would anticipate that as parents and their children have questions of their pediatricians and other local health professionals, and they get those questions answered, that more and more parents and kids will want their kids to get vaccinated.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Pfizer started submitting data on its vaccine for children under 12 last month, but it wasn't until today that they formally requested the FDA to authorize its use.
The coronavirus vaccine is just one vaccine that health officials are worried about. According to a new study, more than 40% of people in the U.S. don't plan on getting a flu shot this year. Out of more than 1,000 people who were asked about their plans to get a shot, 44% said they were unsure or were not planning on getting their yearly flu shot. Most of these people said that they believe the flu shot does not work very well. According to health experts, this year's flu season may be worse than average due to last year's season being so mild because of COVID-19 precautions.
Coming up, we'll take a look into the final debate about the debt ceiling and Ole Miss homecoming royalty as we head into the homecoming game this weekend. But first, here is a look at your current conditions.
major flooding threatens cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not my first time bartending, so
It's a sausage party in here.
it's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing,
Yeah.
is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to...
What?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
At least 250 homes in Japan are without power today after a 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck the east coast of the country this morning. The Japanese government set up a task force to deal with the situation. Officials say they haven't detected any abnormalities at nuclear facilities near the quake. Late last night, just hours before that earthquake, another 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck Pakistan and killed at least 20.
Closer to home, last night and into this morning, over 10 inches of rain fell onto Birmingham, Alabama. 4 people were announced dead from overnight flash flooding. Dozens of people were trapped in their homes and cars. Officials said a 4-year-old girl and an 18-year-old woman are among those confirmed dead from the flooding. The fire chief from the neighboring city, Pelham, said the city received nearly 300 calls for help. They were able to rescue 82 people from homes, about 15 to 20 rescues from vehicles. Jim Coker, the Jefferson County Emergency Management Agency director, says the impact of the flooding will carry into the next several days. Crews will be out Friday inspecting the damage and checking infrastructure, everything from pipelines and power lines to roadways. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, the debt ceiling debate is settled. At least for the time being, Senate leaders reached an agreement this morning to extend the debt ceiling through early December. The debate leading up to the short-term agreement had been highly partisan, and today Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell took credit for the agreement.
The President, the Speaker, and the Democratic leader had 3 months' notice to do their jobs. But for 2.5 months, the Democratic leaders did nothing and then complained that they were actually short on time. The majority didn't have a plan to prevent default, so we stepped forward.
The original deadline was October 18th. If members of the Senate don't reach a long-term agreement by the new December deadline, the federal government could run out of money.
Debt isn't the only hot topic in politics. Texas's recent 6-week abortion ban has sparked nationwide protests, including one right here in Oxford. Today, a federal judge in Texas blocked the ban. CNN's Chris Wynn has the latest.
In Texas, a momentary win for abortion rights proponents. Wednesday, a federal judge issued an order temporarily blocking the enforcement of the state's 6-week abortion ban, among the most restrictive in the nation. In a scathing 114-page ruling, Judge Robert Pittman wrote, "From the moment SB 8 went into effect, women have been unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their lives in ways that are protected by the Constitution." He went on to say that other courts may find a way to avoid this conclusion as theirs to decide. This court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right. The decision comes just days after thousands rallied at the Texas state capitol in support of reproductive rights.
Women's rights are human rights!
The Justice Department sued Texas on September 9th, more than a week after the law went into effect. Most clinics have been in compliance, forcing people to go out of state to have an abortion if they were more than 6 weeks into their pregnancies. In a statement, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland praised the ruling, calling it a victory for women in Texas and for the rule of law. But Texas Right to Life, an anti-abortion group which advocated for SB 8 in the state legislature, branded the decision as wildly broad and astonishing. Texas has already indicated it plans to appeal the ruling. The issue ultimately likely to land before the Supreme Court. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
That Texas law is far from the only abortion law under review. A Mississippi abortion ban is set to come before the Supreme Court in December in what some are calling a direct challenge to Roe v. Wade.
Homecoming week is in full swing, and NewsWatch correspondent Juliana Jackson was able to meet with both homecoming king and queen as they prepare for the weekend.
Hotty toddy, it's homecoming week at the University of Mississippi. So let's take a moment to meet our homecoming king and queen.
Kenzie Blunt, Ole Miss homecoming king.
Obviously, I was feeling a lot of different emotions, but my first thought was just wow, honestly. Like, I was just in awe, like, just that I was able just to have the support from all my friends and just the Ole Miss community just to be elected into this position. To let him know that everything's going to be okay. Your freshman year, obviously, you have a lot of different adjustments and a lot of different things that are just being thrown at you and different challenges. And just knowing that those challenges and obstacles are really just going to help you become the person you are today. And so just don't think of those challenges and obstacles as something that's like bad for you, but more as like helping you learn and grow.
Bradford Stewart, Ole Miss homecoming queen.
I was nominated by my sorority to run for homecoming queen, and so I found that out early on, and then throughout the summer I was just prepping, getting different things ready to run for homecoming and for campaigning week. And so when they announced my name, I think I was a little bit in disbelief and just in awe. Throughout the entire process, I felt like I just feel like I'm dreaming, and that definitely carries on today. I would tell my freshman self to soak up every single minute, every single second. Your 4 years here go by so quick, and so soaking in everything and taking advantage of every single opportunity and experience is so worth it.
Juliana Jackson, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Homecoming week means it's a big week in Rebel sports. Not only is the football team looking to bounce back, the Ole Miss soccer team will be back in action tonight against the top 25 opponent, and the Rebel volleyball team is trying to bounce back after a tough loss to Arkansas. Find out more up next in Sports Watch.
I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuck.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Julia, are you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The Rebel football team is looking to bounce back this weekend against the Razorbacks, but it'll be no easy task. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin discussed the dangers of Arkansas quarterback KJ Jefferson during SEC coaches media teleconference. Kiffin compared Jefferson to Cam Newton and a giant running back, making him difficult to tackle.
Yeah, he's made big plays with play action or kind of trick double move type plays, and obviously runs the ball really well. And I don't know what he weighs. It looks like he weighs 250. So, you know, that's an issue tackling this guy and bringing him down.
The first 5,000 fans into the game this weekend will receive free popcorn. Visit the FINS stands at North Concourse Gate 6, South Concourse Gate 23, East Concourse Gate 13, and West Concourse Gate 36. Rebel fans can sit back, relax, and hopefully enjoy the show. Crossing things over to the pitch, Ole Miss soccer is set to show down against the number 19 South Carolina Gamecocks tonight. The Rebs are hot right now, winning 5 of their last 6 matches overall and 5 of their last 6 matches in SEC play. Ole Miss is coming off their first ever win against Florida over the weekend and their last 12 trips to Gainesville. The Rebs are hoping to keep this momentum going into tonight at home. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Setting things up on the court, it was the final midweek home match of the season for Ole Miss volleyball last night, as they faced off against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Ole Miss struggled to contain Arkansas on the outsides and were really no match for Taylor Head and Maggie Cartwright and their career nights. The Rebs also had a difficult time stopping Arkansas's aggressive serving, as the Razorbacks dropped in 7 aces. The Rebels fought back to the best of their ability, with Anna Baer racking up 10 kills throughout the night. But it would not be enough to keep the Hogs at bay, ending the night with the Rebs falling 3-0. Ole Miss will be back on October 13th at 8 p.m. to take on the Texas A&M Aggies in College Station. Swinging things over to the green, the Ole Miss men's golf team wrapped up play at the Blessings Collegiate Invitational on Wednesday. Finishing third as a team with a 3-day score of 861, the Rebs entered the day in third amongst a tough field and remained in that spot with the final round of 294. Head coach Chris Mallory said he is disappointed in the back nine by his guys, but is proud of how well they navigated an extremely difficult course all week. Ole Miss led the field in par 4 scoring over the course of the tournament, while also leading the field in total pars made. The Rebels' next tournament is set for this weekend as they travel to Birmingham, Alabama Sunday to take part in the SEC Matchup Championship. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Emily. This year, Halloween is coming a little early at one certain home improvement company.
Get your costumes ready as we find out what special event is happening this year. Next on NewsWatch.
I am what hunger looks like in America. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
It might be time to take a trip to the Lowe's in Batesville and not to improve your home with some handiwork. For the first time ever, Lowe's is hosting what it calls Halloween trick-or-treat tryouts at stores across the country.
Lowe's says this was a way to allow people to show off their costumes, collect some candy, and take photos. Especially since the pandemic curtailed gatherings in 2020, the event will be held on October 21st in the store's garden center.
Well, that sounds like so much fun. I want to go to Lowe's in Batesville.
I know, maybe we should, but I also heard that you're going to be in costume for a couple of nights as well.
Yeah, all Halloween weekend I will be dressed up as Vivian Kensington for Legally Blonde at the Ford Center, so you should come see it.
I definitely will.
I don't know what I'm going to be for real Halloween though.
Neither do I. Hopefully we'll find out.
Yeah, that's for another time. That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Leah Blevins.
And I'm Hannah Baker.
Thank you and good night.